There are known events that comes with expenses throughout the year. If we take, for instance, Christmas holidays, that's an event with expected expenses. If you're traveling, for instance, you know that there's money that is needed for fuel and even sometimes food during the trip. But few people will save towards those expenses beginning of the year. Majority of people will wait until the last minute, and when such events occurs, you dip into your budget. You're sometimes a very constricted budget, and you end up overspending, or you end up in the red because you do not budget for such events. And today, remember, we are in this series. We are looking at we are saying actually no more paycheck to paycheck in 2022. And I am here to introduce to you one of the most amazing funds that you can also look into and adopt so that you can use it throughout the year to save towards those known expenses. And this fund is known as the sinking fund. So if you're interested, please stay tuned as we dive into it. A sinking fund simply means saving a little monies throughout the year for a known event. Or yeah, for a known event. You're saving little monies towards a known event. The thing with sinking fund is you should know the amount that you need to save. For instance, if we take Christmas, if you know that each and every year you spend around about 2.5 for Christmas, so this a sinking fund will be created from January, where you'll be saving a little money towards this at Christmas each and every month up until you reach the target. Now, a sinking fund is different from an emergency fund because with an emergency fund, the monies you save towards emergency is not to be expended or to be spent up until you have such an emergency. But with a sinking fund, you are saving knowing that that money you are going to spend. If I was just to clarify further how you create sinking funds, in this column here, I have category. You can have different categories depending on what you want to spend towards. So here you have Christmas, for instance, and in Christmas, you know that if you're traveling, you might need fuel, money for fuel, you might need food for the trip, you might need also to service the car. And you allocate the amount that you need in each category. And the total for this here is 2,000. And here is the amount that you need to save. For Christmas, I know that is 2,000. And what's the due date? In this case, is November. And what you want to do is to divide this amount by 11. And at each and every month, you'll be expected to pay 182 towards this expense. So that when November comes, you are good and ready with this amount to spend without feeling guilty or without even going over budget. So you can have as many categories. Like here you have car registration. It's normally around about, depending on the model of your car. In this case, we have 200 bucks. If it's an annual fee, this just divide by 12, and you'll be expected to be paying 20 bucks each and every month. That's an estimated fee. And you can also have a sinking fund for back to school. Uniforms are expensive. Have the amount here and your due date, and divide so that you can get the amount that you need to pay. So why do you need to create a sinking fund? One of the reasons why you need a sinking fund is that obviously you avoid overspending. You are still within the budget, because if you have planned and you've saved for the particular event, you won't go over budget, and that on its own will help you to avoid debts. And with debts, you're avoiding interest. And the other reason is just that peace of mind of knowing that no, even when you're spending this money, you're spending it guilt free because it's just money that you saved towards that expected expense. Yeah. So how do you set up a sinking fund? I've written down some steps here, so I'll be looking down so that I don't miss any step. So the first thing is you need to know the events that you're saving towards. For instance, Christmas holidays, yeah. And then with Christmas, you need to know the amount that you need, or the amount that you will spend for Christmas. Factor in fuel, for instance, if you're traveling, factor in gifts. If you plan on giving out gifts, and factor in food, because you need mostly it's huge meals during Christmas. So factor those elements and determine the amount that you will need towards Christmas. So that's one. That's number two. So know the events that you are planning. That's Christmas or car registration and everything, and know the amount. And the third step in setting up your sinking fund is given all the events, the timelines. For instance, Christmas occurs in December. So if I need 2.5 for Christmas, I'll start in January saving towards Christmas. And that will be 2.5 divided by 12. And each and every month, I'll be saving that money. I'll be depositing that money to my account for that particular event. Yeah. Yes. There are quite a number of things that you can create sinking funds for. The one that I've been giving example during this talk is Christmas holidays. But you also have car registration, which occurs depending where you are. Like here is once in a year. So you can have a sinking fund for that. I mean, and the car registration is it's not a lot of money, but hey, you can save towards the little monies, you can save towards it, knowing that when the time comes, you have money for it. And you can also create a sinking fund for the emergency fund. Remember, we talked about the emergency fund, and if you have not watched my video on emergency fund, please watch it here. I'll link it here. I'll link it here, and as well as in the description box down below. So yes, you can also create a sinking fund for an emergency fund. And emergency fund, I cannot overemphasize the importance of it. Yeah. You can really have as many sinking funds as you wish, but as a beginner, I'll advise to maybe have 2 to 5 sinking funds. Yeah, because you just want to get the hang of it. And then once you are really established with how it works, then yeah, you can go all full force. Yeah. And can you have a sinking fund while you have debts? Yes. We want to avoid debts, so we don't want to go into other debts. So yes, please do have sinking funds while you have debts. You have sinking funds to avoid debts in the first place. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we had. And if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out. And if you have not subscribed, please do consider to subscribe as well to join the community. We are just about to hit 1,000 subscribers, and yay, we are looking towards it. Otherwise, happy holidays, and I'll see you in my next video.